Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
So we have got a full group here today, and we're going to be working through this. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a very full group, and we are going to start now because it's 11 o'clock. And we may have people that continue to join us as the session goes on. There will be time to hopefully have some questions and answer time. But again, we're already at 93, and I think we're expecting close to 120 people for this session. So it is going to be a little bit one-sided, especially in the beginning as I'm going through some of the expectations and things like that. There is a 11:40 session right after this that is intended to be specifically for collaboration and question and answer. So if I am not able to answer your question in this 11 to 11:40 session, there is on the presentation, I believe on the Q&A slide, which is slide 13, there is a link to that next 11:40 Zoom as well. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, so I did pop this into chat, but if you have just joined us, here it is again. There is the bit.ly for the presentation so that you're able to have that. It's bit.ly/3CNR capital M Z capital C. This session is being recorded, just so you know, and that is so that I can share this back out with you afterwards. And for those that aren't able to make it, or if something happens and you have to pop out for a few minutes. So again, the bit.ly is in the chat, and I'll just kind of keep popping that in there for those that are joining us a little bit later. All right. Hi, I'm Misty. I think most of you know that, but hi if you don't. I'm Misty. I'm a digital learning facilitator, and I am your main Canvas contact for the district. So while we are a team of 3, Jeff and Melissa. Melissa is really taking the point on Seesaw, and Jeff is taking the point on Google Classroom, and I am your point person for Canvas. So for the most part, you can always reach out to any of the 3 of us, and we will happily help you however we can. But for Canvas specifically speaking, if you are needing something, I'm going to be your first line of contact, and I'm here to help you. Like, that is my job. I am here to help you, and I want this to be as easy of a transition for those of you who are making a transition from Google Classroom, nothing, whatever you may have been using in the past. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying that that's a possibility that you may have been using nothing. But as we make this transition to Canvas, I am here to help you. All right. So most of you have already done this, but if you are just joining us now, if you would please make sure to type your name into the chat. And again, most of you have already been doing that as we've been waiting. So that's awesome. But I am taking attendance from that chat. Was the plan. It's too hard for me to figure out 106 of you who are here right now. So please make sure to type your name into the chat so that I know you were here. Our agenda for the day, we're going to be talking very quickly norms and learning targets. We're going to talk about the district expectations, and that also will tie into your campus expectations. I've already talked to the principals of Strike, Walker, and the high school, and we are all on the same page about those expectations, so I'm going to make sure to touch on those with you guys today. I'm going to share some good news, and then we're going to look at the walkthrough for the course enrollment. So, and then again, as time allows, we will have answer questions. So norms, they're the same norms you've probably seen. They're step up, make room, collect wisdom, and think and speak in drafts. And I want to address mine that I find to be most powerful are collect wisdom and think and speak in drafts. And I feel like they just go hand in hand. As I collect wisdom, that informs what I say, that informs what I think, that informs what I do. and therefore I am always, or should always be, thinking and speaking in drafts. I'm learning from you guys. I'm here to help you. There will be questions that come up that I may not be able to answer, but I will always do my best to find that answer for you. And I think that just speaks to our norms as a district. Learning targets. I can understand the district expectations and opportunities available to me in regards to using Canvas. I can discover ways to utilize Canvas as my online classroom, and this is a optional learning target. I can synthesize my learning into a tweetable moment. So for those of you who might be on Twitter, if you want to synthesize something that you learned today into a little tweet and give it, send it off into Twitter at the end of the session, that's awesome. But that is an optional learning target. We may not all be ready for that learning target today, but we are going to focus on understanding those district expectations and ways that we can utilize Canvas. All right, so this is something I just have linked here. We're not going to go into this right now in this moment, but these are the links that you have seen from Amanda, who I believe is here with us, Amanda. And you also should have gotten an email from Digital Learning that had these links in them as well. So really these are included in the presentation more as a reference point for you to come back to and refer to these documents as needed. With that said, let's get into this. This is our first kind of meat slide where we're going to be talking about what the expectations are. So everyone that's here today, 108 of you should be 6th through 12th grade teachers for the 2020-2021 school year. The district expectation is that all 6th through 12th grade teachers will use Canvas as their learning management system, online classroom, online learning environment, however you choose to phrase that. Canvas will be your platform for you and your students. Teachers must complete an LMS training course in Canvas prior to the first day of school, which is August 12th. There will be a link to enroll for those of you that have not done that in this presentation in a few more slides. And teachers who successfully complete the course prior to fall kickoff, which is August 2nd, will receive some logo gear designed just for this occasion, which I think is awesome. So that's a little incentive right there to get your course done before August 12th, and definitely by August, but for sure by August 12th, but before August 2nd, you can get a little swag, which is awesome. So I love that. I'm seeing challenge accepted over in the chat. Yes. And I know there are actually some people who are already done. Like there are some people who are already done and they've already finished. And we'll talk about how you can get to that point in the next couple of slides. So the next slide here, these are the actual district expectations of your course. And again, I have talked to Kelly Hastings, Kelly Carr, and Dr. Pretty, and we came together on these. So there are 5 main things that your Canvas course has to have. And really there's a 6th one, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And they're alphabetical here, but announcements, assignments, calendar, content pages, and modules. You'll notice that the asterisk here, it says campuses may set additional expectations for using your online classroom. That is up to your campus leadership. They may come back and say, here are some other things. One of the things that was already mentioned was use of, Canvas has a built-in syllabus page. And so that would be a place for you to put your contact information, your office hours, your email. And we'll talk about that probably at fall kickoff, because right now you guys don't know your schedules. So I'm gonna put a kind of a pause on the syllabus page, but we will discuss that at fall kickoff, or in the fall. You'll see communication from me regarding that syllabus page as an additional component. That also might be a page where you would link to like the district grading guidelines or other required documentation. But for right now, and for the purpose of your Canvas Basics course, and for the purpose of what you're going to do this summer, it is announcements, assignments, calendar, content pages, and modules. So what are those things? Announcements are ways to send out quick reminders. They could also be how you share your learning targets with your students. Some people use them as an agenda for the week. So here's what we're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Here's my learning targets. Here's my TEKS I'm covering. Some people use them more as a reminder. Hey, don't forget, we have a big test on Tuesday, or important announcement. I just put a new video up, go check it out. So announcements have some different capacity for usage. If you were in the session yesterday, then we talked about announcements for staying connected with your students, because there are ways that you can do video announcements and things like that. So in that case, if we do start out in a remote learning situation, video announcements are a powerful way for you to stay connected with your students, because it allows them to see your face, especially if we start the year remote where you have not met those students yet. So that's a great way for them to get to put a face and a voice to your name. So that's something that you can do there in announcements. Assignments are, well, assignments. So you have, in the course, we're going to talk about 2 different assignments. The first is an online assignment. An online assignment is one that you create and is submitted through Canvas. The second is a Google Cloud assignment, and that will let you use already created Google Drive items. So for those of you who are moving from Google Classroom and you were concerned because you already had documents made that you had used as assignments in your Google Classroom, you can still use those in Canvas. You do not have to recreate those. They can be utilized within Canvas, which I think is great. You should not have to create things from scratch unless you want to. Calendar will let you create events, and you can create assignments from calendars, but that's not part of the requirement. The base requirement is events, and events essentially are another way to serve as reminders. So field trips, due dates, hey, don't forget to read chapter 7, and that'll show up in your kids' kind of weekly at a glance. And I'll pull a course up in a second so you can see, but calendar is great in Canvas. It color codes it by classes, so your kids can easily see things that are coming up based on that specific class's calendar. Content pages. This is the one that I think I get the most questions about. Content pages are your instructional materials. So that video that you were going to show from Khan Academy, you can actually make a page in Canvas and embed that Khan Academy video directly in Canvas. Your kids don't have to go out to Khan Academy now. They can watch it right in Canvas. Same thing with YouTube. If you have a YouTube video, your kids don't have to go out to YouTube. No more ads, no more autoplay of some random video that you didn't know was going to pop up. It keeps them in Canvas. You could also, right below that video, pop in your already created Google slide presentation and reuse it. Your kids can view that content right there. So on one page within Canvas, no additional tabs, to toggle, your kids can watch a video, see your Google slide presentation, and then by hitting the next button, they can go on to an assignment, all without ever leaving Canvas, the Canvas platform. So content pages are for your instructional materials. Modules. I think modules is another one of those that people get thrown off just because it sounds weird, but modules are, I like to think of it like the house. It organizes your materials into a cohesive unit. I don't have specifications on your module. To me, that is something that either you as a teacher decide, you as your team decide, or you as your campus decide. Some people like to do whole units, like a thematic unit. I'm going to talk about 8th grade science, for example. Their unit might have been weather. So it was their entire weather unit was organized into one module, and then all of the teaching materials, all of the assessments, all of the assignments for weather went into this one module. But I know a lot of people, when we went to remote learning, those that were using Canvas, they went to a week-by-week module. So that's another option for you. How you choose to organize that, though, again, that's going to be up to your campus leadership. Some teams, some teachers might find different things work best for them, but we do want you using modules in some capacity, whether it be weekly or thematically by unit. Okay, let me pause here. And I don't see any questions. I have a couple of questions, but I'm going to address those to those specific people, but I don't have any public ones. So let me pause for a moment and open up the floor to questions. Wait time. How textbook adoption friendly is Canvas? It depends. That's a great question. And I'm going to have to say that HMH is one that we'll have to look at specifically, and it depends on the adoption itself. So if part of the adoption included the ability to be provisioned into an LMS, we should be able to do that. So, okay, and thank you, Amanda. She just said there is a Canvas cartridge, so there we go. She answered that question for us. And yes, we may not have enough information yet for questions, so we'll circle back to questions when we get to the end. Do content pages filter ads as well, or would you still need us to do safe share? No. If you embed the video into a content page in Canvas, there will be no ads. There are no sidebar ads. There are no comments. It just puts the video in. Nearpod. Nearpod is one that I'm going to have to put a pause on, because it's going to depend on how many accounts we have available next year. So it does integrate, but it may look a little different next year, because I don't know what we're going to be having as far as licenses go. There are 5. These 5 are for each unit we have in our course. Fant, can you expand on that for me a little bit? Can you guys unmute yourselves? I don't know if you can or not.
I think that he's saying, are all 5 of these things like for each of the units, or if like we just have to have all 5 of these things in our Canvas, or do we have to have these for all units?
So, okay, that's going to be something that's going to come down to, I think, in my opinion, that's your campus decision on how often it's utilized, I guess, because really that's what it's going to come down to. If you're building out your entire year in Canvas, you would probably have these things just by default, because if you're building your content, you're going to have instructional content pages, you're going to have assignments, you're going to have ongoing announcements to your students. Does that help clarify that? Sorry. Okay. A couple more came in while I was answering.
Yeah, there was a question about Google logging in, add class.
So Charles, some have that same option, but not all. So you'll find some that do have that same functionality and some that don't. It just depends on that third-party platform. PowerPoint presentations. Rosa, are you asking about being able to embed those into Canvas pages? If that's the question, yes. You can reuse anything Microsoft Office, anything Google Suite, PDFs, any of those things can be added into content pages in Canvas.
Thank you.
Jeannie, that's a great question. She asked if she had already taken the Canvas course a few years ago. Do you still need to complete the new one? Yes. And the reason for that is just that we're trying to get everybody on the same page at the same time. Good news is, and I'm gonna, Jeannie, that actually prompts me to my next slide here. Those of you who have already been using Canvas, skip the videos and go straight to the hands-on submissions. Use your courses that you've already had, pull your assignments and things from there and use those as your submissions. Okay, so continuing that phrase of good news, we're here to help, and I'm here to help. And I will say I try my best to always be very responsive, and I think that most people would agree that that's true. I tend to be pretty quick responding to my emails, and I tend to respond kind of no matter when you send them. So I'm not saying that I'm asking you to email me at midnight, but I will respond to you as quickly as I can. That's one of those things that I just personally, that's my own standard, and I don't want to keep you waiting. And I'm also honest, when I don't know the answer, I will tell you, I will have to look into that for you. So that is something that you can count on from me to always offer up in terms of my service to you, is that I'm here to help you, and I will do whatever I can to help you. And I want this to be as easy as possible. And I don't want it to be something that feels inadequate or insufficient for you to use in your classroom. Because I truly believe, and I wouldn't say this if I didn't, but I truly believe Canvas is a powerful tool for our secondary students. And it is a great platform. It's going to prepare them for college, and especially in these cases of getting them ready in these remote learning times when we don't know what things are going to look like. So a couple of things here. Your classes are auto-created from Focus. Yay, good news there. So in the fall, your classes will be imported in for you, and your students are also auto-rostered. We've run into a few hiccups in the past, and I'm hoping that we won't run into those in the fall, but we're going to wait on some of the cross-listing and things like that until fall kickoff in the hopes of bypassing some of the issues we ran into last year. But ideally, what will happen is your classes will be auto-created, your students are then auto-created, and that updates pretty much every 24 hours. So the nice thing about that is that, you know, in March, when, well, I guess not March, in February, when kids switch sports or something like that and their schedules get changed, your Canvas will automatically update within about 24, 48 hours. Those of you who have already been using Canvas, anything you've already created can be imported into a Sandbox or into your live classes in the fall, so you can reuse your content. And that also goes for anything you create this summer in your Sandbox. I know Amanda Rolfe, her group, they've got English sandboxes. So anything that they make in that entire sandbox can then be copied into their live courses in the fall. So that's why your Sandbox, when you're going through the course, I encourage you to make something you actually see yourself using in your classroom and not just like a dummy page. I would encourage you to actually use something that you might use Unit 1 or Unit 2, because then it'll be done for you and you can import it into your live class in the fall. Canvas has always been difficult and confusing. So what I would say to that is that for anybody who feels that way is, one, just take a deep breath. Honestly, just kind of woo-saw it out, because I'm here to help. Also, there are people on your campus that have been using Canvas that can help you. And one of the things about the basics course is that it is broken down into step-by-step. There's a video, and then there's a hands-on component. There's a video, and then there's a hands-on component. If you watch that video, the next activity is literally the practicing the video that you just watched. I'm also always available to come over, and we are going to be having weekly webinars throughout the summer for those of you that would like a more direct teach versus the more abstract. Librarians having access to all of our kids. Robin, I'm going to write that down, because those classes don't exist in Focus. That is something a little bit different. You might be able to make your own course and have students enroll. Charles, Canvas having its own language. I actually have a Canvas terms cheat sheet that is in the Canvas Basics course, and it explains what all of those different terminologies are. So it's not a word wall per se, but it is a cheat sheet that you can use that does explain when I say sandbox or modules or pages. It does explain kind of what that is in a more common vernacular. So I appreciate you saying that. And yes, a sandbox is just your practice. It's just an empty course shell. You don't put students in it. It's a place for you to play and practice as you learn to build your course.
I have a quick comment. I just want to say, like, I really appreciate all the positive comments that people are making in the chat, because that really is like the whole reason that we're doing this, is so we can provide the best kind of instruction and communication for our students and for parents, regardless of where we are. So if we're all in the classroom together 100%, perfect, great. This is a great way for us to provide, you know, amazing instruction. If we are all in different places, then this is going to provide us a really great way to make sure that we are giving kids the best that we have. So, you know, I just love seeing all of the support to each other and the positive comments. And I just, you know, that makes me feel really good. And I know, Misty, that makes you feel really good, because we
Yes.
are doing our best to make sure that you're successful. And we all know the why behind this. And so I just, kudos to all of you for having such a great attitude. I really appreciate that.
Yes, I just thank you. I'm just reading through the comments, and again, there are teachers who have been using Canvas, and there's a chance that I'll share your names out. My teachers who have been using Canvas, be like, hey, here are people that you can go to if you're in a pickle and they're on your team and you need a little bit of help, because we have some people who have been doing amazing things with Canvas for 2 or 3 years now. There was a question about parents. There is a parent observer feature, and that is something I will be sending more information out in the fall, just with all of the, sorry, I got distracted by the chat, with all of the parent observers and what they can and can't do. Yes, and Ms. Troxler said that you can share sandboxes as teams. I think that's a great way to do that, is build a team sandbox, and everybody helps build the units, and then nobody's stuck doing everything on their own. Will there be a cheat sheet of all the tools you can create through Canvas, for example, digital breakout rooms? So breakout rooms are more for Zoom, but there are different tools. I will try to put something like that together, but that tool list kind of grows. But Jordan, I'm going to write that down as a coming soon, okay? Okay. So this page, guys, if you have not already enrolled in the Canvas Basics course, the actual 5-hour course, I'd like you to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I'm going to stop share for just a second. No, I'm not. I'm going to pull that back up because I just lost my presentation. Sorry. Sorry about that. I keep doing this. I lost my shared window, so this is awesome. Okay, well, we'll just go back to stop share for a second. Amanda, do you have the presentation open by chance?
I do.
Could you open up the enroll, or copy that enroll link and pop it into the chat for me while I try to figure out where my window went? I love it when this kind of stuff happens, guys. I'm super professional. Can't find my window.
That one. Did I send the right link?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Just keeping it real for you guys. That's, if nothing else, I always will. When I make mistakes.
We tell people to fix problems like live in front of people so they can see like how to troubleshoot. So
yeah, there's nothing nerve-wracking about that at all.
No.
Okay, real quick, I've had a bunch of questions that came in. Some of them are private, and I'll address those specifically. When it comes to auto-populated classes, I've never been able to make heads or tail of it. Last year, my Canvas auto-populated about 30 courses for the 6 periods I taught. I was told it could be overridden. So here's the thing. Canvas populates whatever exists in focus. So for those of you that do, especially the high school and some of our electives teachers, you guys have classes where it's like first period, but you have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in that first period class, and focus makes 3 different sections for that. So Canvas makes 3 different sections for that. The fix for that is to cross-list them. But I don't want to cross-list kind of until we know we're not going to have any classes disappear, because that's what happened last year. There was some scheduling changes that happened after we cross-listed, but that is something that we will discuss in the fall, and I will walk you through how to cross-list your classes, I promise. And basically what you'll do is you combine them into either one, so all of the like classes go together, or the by period. So that kind of depends on what you want to do there. Okay. All right, so what I want to do now in our last like 10 minutes is I'm going to pull up the Canvas Basics course and just give you a real quick overview, and then we'll leave the rest of the time to answer more questions. So can everyone see my screen? Am I sharing my screen? Okay. So the very first thing you should see, one, you'll notice I did not opt to go with buttons on this page. And a lot of you may be like, oh, your courses always have buttons. But I wanted you to see that pretty page view, like most of our courses are, is not the only way you can do this. This is the module view, and this is perfectly fine. If this is where you are and if this is how you want your course to look, this is a perfectly great way to get your students in. For those of you that want to kind of fluff your course more and you want banners and buttons, that's part of the Beyond Basics course. It is not part of the basic requirements.
And I'll tell you, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm going to tell you that that's one of the things that was intimidating to me, and it's one of the things that slowed me down the most, was I wanted my stuff to look like Misty's stuff, and it doesn't. And so making those buttons and working on Canva and trying to make all of that work, that slowed me down. And so if that's one of the things that's intimidating to you, it is refreshing to know that you don't have to do that. That it can work just as well and be just as efficient and effective without the pretty. And you can work on that stuff later.
Yes. And so it is part of Beyond Basics. It is not intended to be something, it is purely optional. Some people prefer that look, and then some of you might find, nope, I just like the streamlined module view. So I wanted you to see that in here. The next thing you'll notice is the very first thing where it says start here is don't panic. And I mean that. That video is a heartfelt message from me telling you not to panic. And I'm here. And I want to reiterate that. And I know I've said that like 35 times, but I don't want anybody to spend their entire summer stressing out over this, because we're going to get you up and going one way or the other. So each of these has, and what I was saying before about video and then hands-on activity, so that's what you can see here. This is a video that will show you how to make a sandbox. Here's where you actually practice it and submit it. Here's the video that shows you how to make a calendar event. Here's where you practice and submit it. And then just from a general Canvas overview, you can see over here my teacher view. This is how many assignments I have to grade. None of these assignments have been shared with me. I do not get email notifications on these. My Google Drive isn't clogged up with students sharing links with me. Instead, I have a notice right here that I have 18 assignments that need to be graded, 14 for this one and 14 for this one. I click on that, it opens in SpeedGrader, which is something you'll see in Beyond Basics, and can get into it. Only the basics course is required. However, for those of you that would like to, there is a Beyond Basics course. It is still being developed, and I'll let you see where I'm at right now. So the things that are green are published and accessible. The things that are gray are not, so I am still working on this. There's also going to be a level 3 course for those that really want to get into the more, because Canvas can do so much. But that's why we're breaking it down into chunks. Basics, that's where you need to start. That's the required piece. Anything beyond that is purely for your own learning. And again, that Beyond Basics course isn't due, and really it's not due, but it's got a due date for June 2nd, 2021. Because you have the entire school year to do it. And really, it's not going to close then either. It's just I needed to put a due date on things. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Maybe. And I'm going to open it back up for questions for the last 6 minutes. I do want to remind you that in the presentation, there is a link to the feedback slide. I would truly appreciate your feedback on the session. And There are also links to our summer training calendar. I will be offering weekly webinars, and those webinars will be broken down by specific skill. So for those of you who want a more face-to-face, teach me how to do this one thing, that's what those webinars are for.
And that calendar is linked somewhere that they have access to?
Yes, it's linked both in the basics course and it's linked in the presentation.
And all of those sessions are in Strive too, so you guys can
Yes.
register for those now.
Somebody that asked about SPED teachers that don't have their own classes, the teachers that you support can actually add you as co-teachers to their classes, and there is a video that shows how to add co-teachers. It's very easy. And then what I would say as far as just making sure you have an understanding of how to do this, go ahead and make a sandbox and practice the skills, because you never know what could eventually happen down the road, and you might find yourself teaching a course. And yes, I want to, Kelly Hastings said, thank you about teachers that shared out. Yes, thank you, thank you. Those of you that had shared out your own experiences, I truly appreciate you. And again, you might find yourself, you know, referenced in an email to say, hey, you can always reach out to so-and-so at the high school, or so-and-so at Stripe, or so-and-so at Walker. They're a great resource. I will not be sending emails with the weekly links, but what you can do is that you can register for those sessions in Strive. And then there's also that calendar that is available in the Canvas course and is also linked in this presentation. Thank you, Julie. One more question that just came in, I want to share here, that you guys can start building without having your classes like created. Yes, what you're going to do is you're going to build in a sandbox. That sandbox is where you'll build for now. And then when your real classes import in the fall, so in August, you will copy that content into your real live active classes. And somebody else was talking about, okay, so Jeannie and Lindsay Milner, they're talking about how they combine their classes. Some teachers opt to do that. They choose to actually combine all of their classes into one. So let's say that I teach 7th grade English, and Leanne, I'm going to pick on you as my teammate. Leanne also teaches 7th grade English. If we wanted to, we could actually cross-list all of our classes into one giant 7th grade class. And then anything that I pop in would go to all of our students. That's an option, but it's not a required option. And those are things that you and your team can talk about. And if that's a decision that you want to make, then we can help you. Is the Sandbox course later today where I will show you how to make a sandbox? Yes, it is. That is a hands-on session. We'll be doing things together. And yes, I promise the lingo does take a minute. But use that cheat sheet and just it'll keep coming back to me, or to you, I should say. Thank you, everybody. Couple of things that are over here. I've got 2 more minutes, and those of you that want to jump into the other Zoom, I think Amanda shared that link earlier in the chat. I'll try to find it and pull it back up in case you want to join that other Zoom. I've never done, as long as I've completed this course and I'm doing the sandbox this afternoon, enrolled. The thing you have to do is the Canvas 101 course. The Zoom meetings and things like this, these are extra hours and extra support, but what you have to do is the Canvas course. Estimated time for that, you'll get 5 hours of CPE, and that's been about the average time that we expect it to take. It may take some of you a little bit more, and it may take some of you less. Somebody asked about how to view as a student. Yes, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to show that, but there is a student view option, And everyone has that. It's built into your course under both settings and on the right sidebar menu where you can see what your students see. Carly, I will hand add you to that. If anybody else needs to be hand added to the Sandbox course, let me know and I'll make sure to get you in there. Jessica, it is at 1 o'clock today. Canvas 101 and Canvas Basics are the same course, yes. Okay, I've got some people who are wanting to be added. So Flavia, was that you wanting to be added to the Sandbox course? Scott got you.
Yeah.
Nicolene got you. Flavia got you. Carly, I had you. Jessica got you. Reagan got you. Adrian got you. Okay. I am going to send everybody the recording out after this. Douglas got you. Jordan got you. April got you. Hastings got you. Florence got you. Sanborn got you. Lisa, Lester. Sandbox recording will be sent out after as well. Carl, I'll add you to that list. Dawn, I'll make a note there about the recording. Monica, Mariano, Lakoya, Olivia, Myra, Taylor, Francisco, Robin, Jennifer. All right, guys, I've got to hop into the other Zoom. The 1141 has already started. And again, if you would like to join that, Ms. Troxler shared that link a little higher up as well. And everyone else that is on here, I will do my best to get you guys added.
I just shared it again.
Thank you. Into that. So Tiffany, if I pop out, I think it'll close. So I've got to go because I've got an 1140 that I'm supposed to be in right now, okay? But guys, message me. If you didn't hear me call out your name, message me and I'll make sure to get you added. That starts at 1 o'clock. Thank you, thank you.
Hey, Troxler, are you in charge of this now?
She turned it over to me in case anybody needed to ask questions or anything.
I was just wondering, for you personally, as quote unquote social studies, could we kind of go to you, like, not that Misty isn't.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That takes a little bit off of her because I think she's going to have a ton. I can answer a lot of the questions, and whatever questions I can't answer, Misty can help us out. But yeah, if I can answer the basic ones and things like that to take a little bit of the pressure off of her, because she will work herself to death this summer if otherwise, because there are a lot of teachers that are going to be coming to her for help. And I can help. McCaffrey can help as well. She's gotten really good with Canvas as well.
Yeah, because I know back Coffee and I tried to do this and we kind of screwed the person. We couldn't, like, just a lot of questions and confusion about making sure we're going the right way and not having to go back and repeatedly undo something or add something in that we didn't think about or didn't know about before. And that's
gotten a lot easier. It's gotten a lot easier and a lot better. They've done a lot of updates to the system. So year one was really a struggle, but each year they've added features that made it better and better. And I really, really like Canvas.
Yeah, because I know specifically I'm going to have to know it probably better for my campus. I mean, other than Bagley, but the new person we have for 8th grade don't know about Brodsky. I haven't heard from Madison Young at all. And then I don't know how how versed Slade is, but at that point there's Bagley, Slade, and me, one in each grade that potentially might be getting new people. And I just worry that I'm going to be doing a new thing in Canvas and have to help a lot of people. So I just trying to make sure that I'm as versed as possible.
Yeah, and the good thing is you can add co-teachers, and you can add, like, you create a sandbox, and you could do a 6th grade sandbox and share it even across Strike and Walker.
Yeah.
And so everybody can collaborate into it, which would work out phenomenally well, as also, especially for those teachers who are doing more than one subject. And I mean, that's what we did when we were playing with Mastery Path this year, was we had a sandbox and added everybody onto it so that we could all build it together and create the information in there. And then it's very easy to export and copy into your own. So I don't have a problem helping you at all.
Yeah, because I know even at Strike at this point, it's measles and me. Like, we're the only 2 6th grades that are officially, at this point, we're not going anywhere, don't have any question marks by our name.
Right. And there's a new one coming in for 6th grade at Strike.
Yeah. And she has 8th grade too. I mean, I know she's well versed as well, but if she's a little split where different campuses and we're both potentially might be having new people,
Right.
I just don't want to struggle at the wrong point in time. I'd rather struggle this summer than struggle in August.
And that's, that's even my plan. I want to build out as much of first semester as possible and just be able to add things in that need to be in, and then be able to focus. And really, it'll help with the whole planning process and the flow of everything to do it this way too.
Okay. Cool deal. Thank you, man.
And search Commons, because there's some stuff already built out in Commons that you might be able to utilize. Now, sometimes people will link protected Google documents and things like that, but sometimes you can connect with the teacher and say, hey, do you mind sharing what you have?
Yeah.
So
I think that was one of our first forays into building. It was like, okay, well, let's find something that's built. And it was essentially a husk with nothing, because it was like a protected Google Drive, like you were just talking about. And I think that was one of our deterrents, was like, well, look at what we got and we can't access, even though it's in Commons.
And even now they've integrated the Google. Like I did that basic course this weekend just to knock it out and get it done. And so I had created my assignment and did it my old fashioned way. And then the next one was Icloud Assignments. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do it this way. And I was like, I was doing all these extra steps. And so they've added this new way that you can take, like, if you already have an assignment created in Google Docs, you can iCloud it in, and it force makes the copy for the students already. There's no where they click I was doing it with a forced copy link. So they had to click the link. They had to say, yes, allow copy. It would make a copy. Now it like automatically does all that within it. So it took out all these extra steps, which is, I was just like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. I love that. So
just more bridging the gap between what we might have been doing to it as a new platform, correct?
Right. And even Leanne started working on it, I think yesterday, and she texted me because she's been stressing about it. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually understanding it now. So I think that the user friendliness of it has really improved.
Okay.
And as long as you have a clear thought of what you're going to do and what you want to see, really it is using what you already have and just putting it into this platform.
Cool deal. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. I will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Crystal, Miss Dee, do y'all have any more questions, or are y'all good? Oh, Crystal, you're muted still.
Okay, I'm here listening to everything.
Okay.
No, but I'm good. I'm good.
I figured that's what you were doing. So
No. All right then.
okay.
I'll see y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.